Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's session on AI-powered talent enhancement. My name is Tom Andriola. I'm at UC Irvine. We've got a team here from Irvine. I'm going to talk to you today. We're Kian, who's the campus CIO, and I are going to do a little bit of kickoff, and we're going to, I think, both talk about why this is important to us from a leadership perspective, and then we're going to get into the guts of what we've been doing and how we think it really is transformative, and how we hope that other campuses will be interested to follow the path that we've been moving on. Just a little bit about me. My role at the campus is as a Vice Chancellor of Information Technology and Data. Some of you may know me from my past role being at the UC system level. And I really wanted to share in the few minutes that I have, why do I feel like this is the most important presentation you'll attend today, other than John O'Brien, the CEO of EduCause, who just walked in the room. And just to show you, he came here to our session, right? Right. But no, look, I do this through a personal story, and the team at UCI has heard this. When I was in my corporate part of my career, I was fortunate enough to be part of the high potential group in the company I worked for. And I had a lot of opportunities to grow my skill set that was a part of how I advanced my career. When the UCI team brought to me this program that you're going to hear about today, what resonated with me was the special concierge service that I got to help grow my career, the development of skills, of competencies, to be ready for the next role that I got because I was special. We are using technology, and everyone is going to get that opportunity. Everyone can build the roadmap of their careers, and we've democratized that to the level that everyone has that opportunity to build that roadmap, to build that scaffolding. That's what we do as leaders today. At least that's what I try to do as leaders, is to create a playing field where everyone can play. And what I'm going to tell you here is that what you're going to see here, everyone can make work for them, regardless of where your starting point is today. And so whether you're a leader in the room and you want to create a better talent pool for your team, or you're an individual who wants to grow their career, you need to go out and start advocating to your leaders of your campus that we need a program like this here for us. Because as you heard this morning from our speakers at the keynote, we are becoming more and more integrated and strategic in every conversations that we're having. We all know in the technology field, we are constantly needing to reinvent ourselves around the new technology that's coming into our world, and that's coming to our campuses or coming to our medical centers. And so we need a program like this that gives everyone an opportunity to chart that course for themselves. And I think our team here at Irvine does an amazing job of creating and democratizing that for every employee to take advantage of. So I'm going to leave my comments there and turn it over to my colleague, a fantastic CIO on our campus, Kian Kolstock.
Thank you, Tom. So I think as we go further into this presentation, we're going to go lower and lower in detail. And I wanted to kind of add my piece onto the presentation on why Irvine went this route and why we wanted to pursue a platform like this, which is really kind of it's one of a kind at the moment, but it's probably going to be very prevalent in the near-term future. And it started with a problem that we were trying to solve, which is, in a large organization, and I obviously work for Central IT, including student employees. We have hundreds and hundreds of people who work for Central IT at Irvine. And when we surveyed our staff and our leaders, both on the engagement and the culture side, there was one problem that was very hard to solve. And it's a problem that you all have in your organizations as well. And that problem is, how do you build a career path for every single one of your staff in your organization? And when you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of people, that can be very complicated. And, it depends, are we investing in that skill set in the future? Are we not? How good of a manager do they have? Are they in a part of the organization where they have enough visibility on their skills and their potential? These are all things that we all are struggling with and worrying about. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to, like Tom said, create a playing field where it didn't matter. All of those different variables didn't matter. And no matter who you were and what you were doing and what skills and what experience you have, we know enough about you to make some educated decisions with, the power of AI in the platform, but we can help make some better decisions about having people traverse around our organization and getting opportunity for the next job, the next job, the next job, by using the data that we have on them and using the data that we have on our future opportunities to do more powerful career management. So that was kind of like a nut we wanted to crack, both from an engagement and from a career development standpoint. And knowing that this had never been done before, it was kind of fun to get started and to launch into it. I think everyone here that's going to talk to you today is going to mention the word fun, because it's fun. It's fun doing something that makes a difference and doing something where all of our staff are engaged with this platform now, and they're starting to realize its potential. And staff are really, they're really enjoying the whole thing, being part of something that is a new concept, really. So with that, I'm not going to take up much more time, but hopefully I kind of laid the groundwork on why. And then our team here is going to talk about how we did it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Speaking of fun, I'm here. So, Kian, thank you for the introduction to Evolve. Everyone, good afternoon. My name is Nydia Barrios. I am the Director of OIT Human Resources and the Assistant Director of Business Services for OIT at UC Irvine. And I'm glad to see a full house here. I'm glad to see AWS here. And it's a full house because this truly has been one of the highlights of my career, having to connect with staff on the level that we've been able to. And really, this is a call for action, and we're answering that call. And I'm really happy to share this with you today. So Evolve is a talent enhancement tool driven by AI. So when I first heard about this, the first thing that came to my mind was like ET, right? And that's when I knew it was going to be fun. This is a vendor-powered platform made up of a series of dynamic modules. We know our staff want career growth and development opportunities, and OIT wants to create a solid foundation to foster these opportunities for our teams. So the Evolve program will allow us to strategically, but most importantly, intentionally invest and grow in our staff to meet the organizational needs that we have today and the ones that we're going to have tomorrow. Oops, excuse me. So this very popular timeline of the Great Resignation. So a little over a year ago after a little over a year after the pandemic began, economists took note of the rising quit rate and lovingly labeled it the Great Resignation. So this rise in which everyone was affected by this, especially in the IT sector and especially in higher education. This was a call to action for OIT leadership to really delve into the problem and do something about it. So the 2022 McKinsey & Company Great Resignation Survey identified the top 3 reasons why people left a job. Number 1, uncaring leaders. Number 2, unsustainable work performance expectations. And 3, the lack of career development and advancement potential. After hearing directly from our staff via the exit interviews, the Gallup engagement survey that we take every 2 years, and from conversations with leadership, retaining our top talent became crucial. So we knew mitigating attrition, it became top of mind with OIT leadership. Evolve has created the opportunity to reevaluate the relationships with our staff. And that truly has been one of the most important stories that I hear now, like on a weekly basis. not last week because I was out on vacation, but up until that point, I've been hearing different experiences that our staff have been having with the Evolve tool and how it's made a big difference. And for that, hearing that is worth everything that we went through to make this come to fruition, especially right now, because we're seizing the moment, because as technology advances, skills become obsolete faster than ever. So, but contrary to conventional wisdom, the greatest value now lies beyond purely technical skills. The most valuable roles are the ones that enable machines to pair with skilled cross-disciplinary thinkers to innovate, create, and deliver success. And that's exactly what we want to provide to our employees. So this call to action empowered OIT leadership to adapt to the reality of the workforce expectations. Inclusion and belonging is something that really came forward with Evolve, because the staff need to feel valued, they need to feel supported, they need to feel recognized, and they need to feel like they're actively developing and bringing creative thinking to work, right? Who wants to not have creative thinking? I don't think anybody here, that would be boring. And looking at this differently actually makes it very, innovative for our staff to know that they could come in and make a difference, and it's fun. So this allows for career discovery. The staff can identify when their strengths and passions are, where they're at, and how OIT can foster and align them with their current job and future career. As much as we want to keep them home, we do let them know that this is an opportunity to advance their career beyond OIT. We want to keep them in OIT, and we do everything to do that, but doing this the right way keeps them home, and that's what we're doing so far. With Evolve, we noticed in the conversations at the beginning, the top 3 things that we have to do to increase, attract, develop, and retain our employees. Skills are the new career currency. Workers need to change and develop new skills too if they want to grow and thrive to move ahead. Evolve weaves learning into our culture. That is something that has become very apparent in OIT, and especially in the module that we're in now. We're currently in the Learn module, and all the resources that we have available through this application have gone beyond what we expected. So evaluating staff and new hires based on their skill sets can help us realize that the talent we already have, we have it here at home, right? It also makes talent pools more diverse and often makes hiring more effective, because leadership will understand the changing needs due to the conversations that we're having with our current staff, and really gets to reevaluate the roles that we have. Career development is key in retention. Staff are more likely to remain with a company long-term if they receive training that help them to perform at a higher level. That is something that was very clear-cut, that was described from our employees through the engagement surveys, that they were looking for career advancement, and they were looking for career advancement here at home. I know people sometimes don't like to say that, work is like home, but this is coming from our employees. They like where they're at, and they call it home, and they want to remain home. So this is helping them build their career paths within our organization and broaden their opportunities to progress through OIT. And also within UCI, there are also other opportunities outside of OIT, but it still remains home at UCI. Our focus have become internal talent pathways, workforce dexterity, quality hiring, and career discovery. With internal talent pathways, we're able to do this through vacancies. When you become and you join the Evolve program, you complete the first module, which is self-assessment and journeys. The AI that's involved in those modules allow you to explore future moves, which will let you see the available vacancy opportunities. It is really cool to see. I can't wait for you to see it in person, but when you complete those modules, everything based on the skill sets that you've entered and the competency level that you've entered, it'll direct you to see what is your next step in the career, which will pinpoint the current openings in OIT to see where you match at that level. And not only that, the hiring managers that have included in the recruitments, they get to see who is a close fit for the recruitment as well. So that has been really interesting to see, not only through vacancies, but through gigs, which is where we come in with the workforce dexterity. Gigs in Evolve is a short-term assignment and an opportunity for an employee to make a contribution to another team. It's a great way to develop new skills and to understand our organization from a new vantage point. This has been probably where leadership is the most involved, because in order to make this happen, you need involvement from leadership because they're the ones that are going to provide the gigs. This allows for cross-training from between different divisions, which leads to better communication, better relationships, and actually expand your knowledge of OIT, and you see it from a different vantage point. You just don't see it from the division that you're in. And when you are at that point, and it'll help you understand where the other teams are coming from. We've noticed that this has helped communications within the teams to advance the projects that they're working on. You know, sometimes we've had situations where a team needs help to move a project forward. We've had gig applicants help and make that happen. We've also had, you know, different employees who are, let's say, project management. This is one example that we have, who was looking into desktop support, just so she could see her position in a different way, so she could understand what she's receiving, you know, help her understand her deliverables much better. And the excitement going into that role was something very worthwhile. And that's all I hear from her, is how it's really helped her expand her view of her role, but for OIT as well. So for quality hiring, knowing the skill sets we need and the hiring for those qualities are coming from the conversations that are happening with the supervisors and their direct reports. You know, this has really helped not only in communication, expanding the communication between supervisors and employees, especially now where we're in such a remote world. You know, we don't see each other at the water cooler every day. We don't see each other, you know, coming in back from lunch. These conversations have really woken everybody up to get together. Let's have the conversation, and an honest conversation, and really has taken the relationship to the next level, really building on trust and making that trust go further. So for career discovery, this is again where the conversations that happen and evolve really make the supervisor know what are your strengths and your passions. They help you to identify them and foster them and align them to your current job and to your future career. You know, sometimes just asking the question is hard, but when you finally ask it, you know, help from your supervisor, they're willing to help you. And there's ideas that are uncovered that you had no idea because you didn't ask. But I'm glad that Evolve is here to help foster and boost that confidence to make sure that those conversations are happening in an appropriate way. There are so many benefits to Evolve, but I could tell you right now that the relationship and partnership that we've built with Fuel 50 has been phenomenal. They've helped us champion our innovation. That is something that we have been moving forward with. And this is the future of hiring and development. So the fact that you're here, I really hope all of you take that away. The future is here. This is really what you want. You want your staff to be as developed as they can be, right? And especially at a time where talent is the #1 commodity in business. Companies can't afford to remain in an old mindset. So we really have to adapt to this new way of thinking. There's so many benefits, from talent acquisition to internal recruitment, workforce management. All of those help you find mentors, suggest vacancies, personalize your career journey, and you can match to personalized learning opportunities. This is something that we've been able to develop through Evolve. And we chose Fuel 50 because they were willing to take us to the next level. They made us go beyond and reimagine what career development is in OIT. You know, it offers unique, hyper-personalized experience. It does allow for a level of vulnerability that is uncommon in a normal conversation that doesn't have this platform, right? It is an AI-based engine that allows our platform to evolve as our needs change beyond a one-time event. So you'll see, not only will your relationship with your direct report evolve, but the role that you're discussing will evolve, because these conversations really get to the dirt of it, of what has changed in the role. What is it that you're no longer doing? And it really gets down to, you revisit what the job descriptions are. Are they up to date? I know that's something, being in HR, not all of you like to do, is revisit the job descriptions to make sure they're up to date. but this conversation brings that forward. But doing that allows for the division and the department to move forward and bring it with an open mindset. There are a lot of benefits for our leaders with the Evolve platform. You get to know a broader group of talent. Creating a talent pipeline for future needs is something that is very important in order to develop your staff and to move forward as an organization as well. The metrics that come out of Evolve, they show you what's missing based on the responses from you creating your profile. The metrics show what skills are missing and what skills we're overabundant in. The reports that are coming out from Evolve have really shown how right now we're showing that about over 78% of our staff are happy working in OIT. 78%. I would have been happy at 55, but 78, woo, we're good. But that's not 100. I know that there's never going to be perfection, but that's 78. Let's get it to 80. Let's get it to 82. Let's work harder to make sure that our staff are happy. Let's get them to the point where we can make those numbers happen, right? There's a rich resource library with prompted career conversations that come through Evolve and Feel 50, right? There's competency gap mapping, enable targeted development. You're able to search for available talent and skills across the organization. There's critical career preference and engagement data that for each of the team members. So this allows for, like I said, more honest conversations. For OIT, Evolve creates an agile learning environment where growth is on the job. This adds immediate business value to OIT. This is exactly what we were looking for. For employees, Evolve future-proofs their careers. The platform encourages them to be proactive. Not only me, but the platform allows them to be proactive. During this journey, we connect them to the available learning resources. This helps them prioritize time to learn, and it encourages them to seek out opportunities for growth, right? Because the career is at their hands. When you get support from not only your direct supervisor, but from all leadership in general, it really does help the employee move forward. My favorite part is that this supports developing a growth mindset in a psychologically safe environment. This leads to honest conversations because the conversations in Evolve do have to happen. And the staff are comfortable enough and feel safe enough to have those conversations where it leads them to move forward and not remain in a standstill. This is our current roadmap. Right now, we are in I know it is July, but we are in the June timeline, and this is the Learn module. So with the Learn module is you go into your different skill sets that are listed. And if it's something that you want to learn more about, you click a button and it will take you directly to Udemy, and it'll give you links to hundreds, if not thousands of resources that are available in Udemy to help you evolve that skill. This is something that has been very popular since June with our staff, because sometimes, people will use the excuse like, I don't have time to look through Udemy. I don't have time. We hear that during Achieve. We hear it where when we talk about development, even with my own direct reports, it's been hard. I haven't had a chance to go into Udemy. I want to search time management, but I haven't had the time. Well, here you go. Here's your answer. With the skill sets and everything that's available in Evolve, it'll take you directly to the page, and you'll have hundreds and thousands of available classes at the palm of your hands. And what I've heard is one skill set is, do you think they could add more? When I looked up the skill set, there was like over 400 classes available. I'm like, you don't have the time, but it's a good problem to have where, they want more time to get through these classes. So it's been a lot of fun going through these Udemy classes and suggestions from staff of how they can try to pinpoint, is there any way they'll talk about a skill with me and say, is there any way that we could drill that more granular to get even more direct training from Udemy? And it's been interesting because that involves me bringing in the supervisor in, because the one who knows the role, HR is involved in the job description, but the supervisor, the divisional directors, they're the ones that know the nitty gritty of the role. So this leads to bigger and better conversations about training. If you ever wondered where the beautiful people are at, here they are. So our launch for Evolve has been an exciting one. We've had different events throughout the year, but I would say by far the one we had here during our OIT staff picnic was my favorite. Because the reason being is in the beginning when we had our launch, Evolve was new to everybody in OIT. So not everybody had all the information. Not everybody had created their profiles. So here, late spring, early summer, we had our staff picnic. We had people that were already going through gigs, already going into Learn. So their experience was very different from when we first started. So our table was full with questions and comments and just stories. These stories continued for days after the picnic because we were we were very busy at that table with our raffle and the stories and everybody just wanting to share their experience. So those conversations continued for about a week after of how enriching this has been to OIT staff. And it was exciting to hear. This truly was a lot of fun to do, aside from the water balloons, tossing and all of that, and the raffles, the conversations that are being had at the level that they're being had. It was something that was unheard of 2 years ago. So, not everybody likes to be vulnerable, but I'm proud to say that that's where we're heading and that's what's happening. And that's a big win for OIT. Talent sharing over talent hoarding. That has become central and key for Evolve success. We're creating an organization that shares resources, and we don't promote talent hoarding. With talent sharing, staff will understand how different departments work. This leads to better communication and working better together all around. This is all towards the achievement of departmental goals. The interactions and networks that will be made will lead to better ideas for OIT. And if you ask me, that's a win-win situation. I know for many managers, the concept of sharing their best talent is very threatening and an undesirable process. But this part of Evolve, fortunately, was not that hard. Our leadership was very good about, our staff being interested in working in another division, had a job opening. Our leadership has always been encouraging for that to happen. And I think it's because they're still staying home. They're still staying within OIT. So this was almost like hand in glove, easy for OIT to do. But at the same time, with resources being so short, sometimes the push wasn't always there. But with further conversations, this is exactly what's happening. We're sharing teams, and gigs has allowed for that to happen. We have people from, like I said, the project management office working with desktop support services. How different is that? We have people from enterprise infrastructure working with enterprise applications, right? And it's all been, the part that I love about it is that it's not a two-way communication, it's three-way. It involves both divisions and the applicant for the gig, which has led to really easy conversations and good conversations and these conversations have led to really opening your eye to what the need is and discovering that there's even more need for this. So luckily our leadership with, especially with Key and support has been very supportive of gigs and, talent sharing. So I'm really glad that at first I thought this was going to be difficult, but I knew right away it wasn't, because we're very good at sharing our friends within the division. So with one thing that was important and that was probably central to Evolve was DEIBJA. And I know that there's new letters that have been added, so I'll just go over it really quick. So that stands for diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, justice, and accessibility. These opportunities that are created through Evolve is open for everyone to view. So there is nothing stopping anyone in OIT to go forward with Evolve. It's open to everybody, right? So if you're not a part of Evolve, it's not anything to do with inclusion, it's just a choice. So employees can experience other areas of the business and build relationships outside of their own silo, right? This allows you to work with different kinds of people and people who are happy to welcome you in. I know that with gigs, we've seen how team communication has increased, how everybody is welcoming to the other people from the other divisions, and has led to really good interactions, and deliverables come faster because of it. So what we do ask though is to bring a beginner's mindset. Just because you might be the SME in one section does not guarantee that you're going to be a SME in the next section. So what that means is that that's going to be open for everybody. Everybody is going to be starting from the beginning. So the questions that you have, most likely everyone else will have as well, calling for a very open and honest conversation. And on that note, thank you very much. And now I want to introduce one of the forefronts of the Evolve core group. And I will say this in front of all these people, but Lucy Zhang is the Evolve unicorn. She is fantastic, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say.
Thank you, Nidia. Thank you, Nidia. And once again, hi, everybody. My name is Lucy Zhang. I'm the tech lead for the Evolve platform, and I'm also part of the HR IT group as a project lead. So in the very beginning, when we launched Evolve, one of our top priority, and actually one of the top questions we got from our employee is our data safe? And how do I control the privacy of my data? And so in the system, we actually give the power to the employee themselves to set for each module, each section, what level of privacy they want to release their data at. So they could set it as private, share it with nobody. They could share it with their direct report. As you can see here, it says leader, but we could call it direct reports. And then you could share it with the public. And in our case, current case, the public means somebody with a UCI login and password, and they have to be part of OIT. But in the future, as we expand the population, potentially it could be anybody at UCI. And then inside the application itself, you could set an initial privacy setting. And in our case, we set it so that all the employees sharing their results and their information is shared to their direct reports. I want to emphasize that in the system, no sensitive information is ever collected, such as date of birth, SSN, home address, or home phone number. And a little bit on Phil50, the company that creates the product. They're an international company, and they have two data centers, one in Frankfurt and one in Oregon. And their employees actually that we talked to, they're all over the world. Some are in New Zealand, some are in South Africa, and they have representatives in US, Canada, UK, and 6 other countries around the world. And all the data is encrypted and is held in the AWS virtual private cloud. And all the backups are also encrypted and only kept for 7 days. And each year they conduct a penetration test by a third party. And also in agreement with us, our data is never shared with anyone else. And also talking about all the reports that Nidia mentioned earlier, those are only accessible by approved admins. And each admin has to fill out a certain form, and that form is kept with our HR and also with Phil50. And once again, the manager could only see their direct reports information, and only if the employee want the manager to see it. So why would people want to share their data? Well, some of the things that the employees could share is things like the results that share their personal values, their work values, their work style, their development goals, their feedback, their peer review ratings, their targeted roles, and etc. So by sharing that information with their manager, with their mentors, then a conversation could happen. so that people could help the employee reach their goals and their future, their perfect work environment, how they want to achieve it at UCI. And also, it is giving back to the organization by sharing all the skills, the ratings, the capability, the expertise the employee is good at. Then other colleagues could see and maybe start a conversation, ask questions, ask for mentorship, things like that. So it is to, once again, share talent and not hoard talent for future collaboration. Okay. And so there are the three important ingredients that makes Evolve a perfect platform. So it is AI, HI, and UCI. So AI is the Fuel 50's AI. They've been collecting corporate data for the past 6 years to feed into their AI models. And then that gives UCI, OIT, our access to to get to information, to the up-to-date trending information. And then so with all the matching and recommendation that comes for the AI, they're purely done based on skills and capabilities. So they don't look at demographic information such as age, gender, ethnicity, etc., that might potentially create biases, right? Okay, and then so that's the first ingredient. The second ingredient is human intelligence. So AI data is only as good as how much you feed into it. So if there's any bias that you feed into it, there will be bias coming out. So Fuel 50 has hired psychologists and HR specialists to actually look at these AI models and results and do actually a sense check, a content check, to make sure that it complies with the DEI BJBA, yes, the reviews to prevent any further biases. And then, so that's all great. So it's already a pretty good system. But now the final step, I call it the UCI OIT seasoning, is we're adding the customization that makes employee feel like this is not some random vendor product. It's a UCI tool that's helping the employee. So we know what makes UCI unique. We know what makes OIT functional. So we know what our employees need. So we feed the data into the system, for example, like employee data, the career tracks, job title, job track, job standards. We look at all the skills and capability for each job and customize it so that when our employees are using the system, they go like, hey, that makes sense. It's what people around me are doing. And then so that way it feels more personalized. So in the end, with the AI plus HI plus UCI, the Evolve platform is now created. So I will leave you with a message on our Evolve homepage. And I think it's a good summary of what Evolve is. So Evolve it's the evolution of you as an employee. So welcome to your AI-powered personalized journey, delivering opportunities curated just for you. All right, thank you. Okay, I'll hand it off for Q&A.
Thank you so much, Lucy. So are there any questions from the audience? Hi.
Oh, yeah, just for the people on Zoom.
Sure. So I work at one of the other UCs that's heavily decentralized in IT. Any recommendations on how to get this into my single department college, maybe the central IT that is on campus? But essentially, I don't think this would work at scale on my campus across the board. So it's going to have to start smaller. Any recommendations?
So right away is leadership buy-in, right? Support from leadership, HR, your local HR. And from there, connecting with Fuel 50. But right off the bat, I would suggest a project manager to help you throughout the way. But getting the conversation and the funding for the platform was key. So before we could even get into the nitty-gritty of what this is all doing, those were the important conversations to have. And they were had for a while before this came to fruition. So, yes.
Man, Fantastic. So first of all, thank you for your question, because I think this is a real issue. I want to start with, this story is about central IT at the UCI campus. We are not stopping there. We're taking it, we're proving the model out so we can have proof points. We want to include the decentralized units, the health system. We're not even stopping at IT. We think this is generalizable, right? And in the reason we wanted to tell the story is because we want to bring it to the other UCs to adapt to the environment. Now, I want to speak to the second part of your question real quick. It's great, and that at UCI, we were lucky to have leadership who wanted to lean in. But what happens if you're at a place that doesn't? And here's what I would say. What works best in higher education is a grassroots movement. I think employees have to demand this. It's just why we wanted to do this session. We want you to put pressure on your upward management to say, I want to be in higher education. I still need to grow. Whether it's my ambition, whether it's because my kids haven't gone to college yet, I need to grow. I'm not done. We want you to take that message to your leadership, because Kian will work crossways with his CIO partners. If you come from the bottom up, we will make this happen at other campuses and in other functions, right? So I hope the message, don't wait for the CIO, the enlightened CIO to bring it to you, bring it to them. What's your second question?
Yeah. And add to it from a technical point of view, it's super flexible. So we're just one organization now. We're sending in just that set of employee data or job title, but we could easily expand it to 10 other departments just by adding it to the employee data file. Yeah.
I have two questions. One is, are your student employees part of this, and are they taking advantage of it? And the second separate question is, are you measuring the outcomes, and what does that look like with like internal, like or resignation numbers, et cetera?
The answer is not yet. But right now, as of right now with students, everything with the AI feeds off is what we're entering as well. And a lot of it is based on career tracks, right? Our favorite topic. And with career tracks, the student staff title code doesn't lead to anything else. It's just this one title code. So that's different for like an applications programmer. So the answer is not yet, but it is at the forefront. If Tom doesn't ask me at least every other week about students, then I need to check in to make sure he's okay.
So the career tracks that we all know and love, it's very ladder based, right? But my favorite story I like to tell that is the functionality of the system is that even though we loaded career tracks into it, it doesn't care. And that the demo that we did early on was, we did a demo for career pathing that said, I'm a marketing analyst 1, and I want to be a CFO. I want to be a chief financial officer someday. Show me the path. And it showed a path of 16 different lateral and upwardly moving moves, including training, including, this is going to be a lateral move. This is going to be a move when you get there. And it said 16 moves and you can make it. And it mapped it out visually for that marketing analyst 1. And I think that's the power of the platform, because it doesn't care about career tracks. It cares about what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, that's right. Any runners up to Fuel 50, like other products other than Fuel 50?
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Thank you. There were 3 others, but they were no match. They didn't to Fuel 50. Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'll say is, it's the combination of Fuel 50 and having the Udemy platform. If you don't know Udemy, it's a competitor to Coursera. Having that training content that people can get combined with the pathing that you get together, they're part of the Evolve story.
Thank you so much. I know our time's up and I'm excited to see the evolution of you. Have a good afternoon.